This was an intentional, senseless, and vicious intentional crime which has caused immeasurable pain.
This is the story of Kayla Green, a 16-year-old high school cheerleader who was to death in Mount Vernon on April 8, 2022 during a parade to celebrate the boys' basketball team state championship.
This death was avoidable. It's a travesty that this young girl lost her life during an unnecessary and violent attack. You're hereby sentenced.
She was stabbed in the heart by another 15-year-old who was from a rival team who didn't like her because she was the leader on her team and also because she was said to be doing great academically in school. The wielding attacker was captured on video doing the unthinkable to Kayla in broad daylight during the brawl. Hello and welcome to Twisted Crimes. Subscribe and hit the like button for more stories. This case will be taking us to Mount Vernon, New York. Mount Vernon, New York is an inner suburb of New York City, immediately to the north of the borough of the Bronx. The violent crime rate in the area is 40.1, which is more than 77% higher than the US average of 22.7, making it not a really safe place to live. In Mount Vernon, New York, violent crime is far more common than it is nationwide. Kayla Green, age 16, attended Mount Vernon High School. She was a captain of the junior varsity team. She was described as a happy person who loved to dance. She was really close to her mother and father. Kayla was a beautiful big sister and a special young woman with dreams and ambitions of becoming a doctor one day, according to her family members. Kayla did have plans for her future. She wanted to go to Morgan State University. Kayla had recently celebrated her birthday, which her parent went all in for her.
Thank you. In the flesh. Ah! Happy birthday, love.
She was celebrated by everyone around her.
So, thank you so much for coming out. And she's one of your best babies. Oh, she's the best baby. She's my captain.
Not far away from that day, Kayla and her best friend went to celebrate the parade of the Mount Vernon High School winning the championship. During this parade was when a 15-year-old who was jealous of Kayla struck. Prior to this day, Kayla and the 15-year-old whose name won't be mentioned had been members of the Supreme All-Stars, an independent cheer squad, before Kayla became the Mount Vernon High School cheerleader. Kayla went ahead to become a captain of the junior varsity team, which the girl never liked, plus Kayla was really doing well academically. So during this parade, she spotted Kayla and somehow a brawl broke out. Without thinking twice, she stabbed Kayla in the chest and also stabbed her friend who was trying to shield her in the leg. Upon seeing this, they called for help, but for some reasons there was no ambulance in the area to transport her to the hospital. On the parade site, which involved hundreds of teenagers, there was only one police officer on scene. He eventually put Kayla into his car and transported her to Jacobi Hospital in the Bronx, where she died from her injuries. Police in Mount Vernon were able to identify the suspect from a handful of videos that captured the attack. The 15-year-old was seen looking mean and ready to kill in some of the videos. She was then arrested and she pled guilty to manslaughter.
16-year-old Kayla Green, the captain of her Mount Vernon High School junior varsity cheerleading team, was stabbed in the heart during a parade last April. The teen who admitted to fatally stabbing Kayla and injuring her friend could be seen on video flashing a knife and swinging it at multiple people during the parade.
Police were able to later gather that she did the stabbing due to a long-standing rivalry between two cheerleading squads in the city of Mount Vernon. Her mother posted this very touching message on social media. It reads, "They took my child away from me, they murdered my child and then bragging about it, but I leave all vengeance to God. Everyone that's reaching out to me, tagging me and reposting it, I really appreciate it. I saw it, thank you guys so much. I am not strong, please pray for me while I try to pray for myself. At this point I feel like I want to die and bury with my child. God, I just want to die. Please take me with her. She was only 16 and they took my baby away from me. I want to die right now. I don't even know how to say rest in peace to my daughter. This feels so unreal. God, why me? Why me, Lord? My daughter don't bother people. Her mother don't bother no one. Heavenly Father, why me? I just want to die." It was a really sad moment when they were bidding her their final goodbyes.
Today, the Mount Vernon community is saying its final goodbyes to Kayla Green. She was killed just over 3 weeks ago after a celebration in the city. News 12's Emily Young was there for the emotional service.
We come to give God some glory for her life. Come on, as short as it was, God. Come on, we come to celebrate the life of this little child.
Macedonia Baptist Church in Mount Vernon, packed with friends and family of Kayla Green, who all came to say a final goodbye.
We cannot allow Kayla and the hurt and the pain and the agony from her loss to be in vain. We must confront bullying in school, at work, at home.
A whole city in mourning.
We always tell our young people, do well in school, become involved and engaged, pick good friends, do the right thing. And everyone, Kayla did each and every one of those things. An A student, an honor roll student, junior varsity captain, a graduate of the Mount Vernon Youth Police Academy, involved in the Youth Bureau, a loving daughter, a role model as a sister, a niece, a cousin, a friend.
I cannot make this situation good for the family. They're gonna hurt a long time. But what we can do in Kayla's name is put a mirror in front of our face and say, what are we doing to stop this?
The entire cheer squad, as well as the basketball team, also in attendance.
All of you that were cheerleaders with her, y'all gotta finish Kayla's journey.
Things didn't go well in court as Kayla's family wanted when they found out the defendant was sentenced to just 3 to 9 years depending on her behavior in a juvenile detention.
Chester County, a 15-year-old cheerleader who pleaded guilty to manslaughter in the death of another cheerleader, learned how many years she's going to be spending behind bars for stabbing 16-year-old Kayla Green last spring in Mount Vernon. News 4 investigative reporter Sarah Wallace has details and what the now convicted teen had to say in court.
My family is broken, and our heart will never mend from the loss of my daughter.
Outside the courthouse in White Plains, anger fueled by pain. The family of 16-year-old Mount Vernon cheerleading captain Kayla Green reacting to the sentence imposed moments before on a 15-year-old girl who pleaded guilty to manslaughter in December.
This death was avoidable. It's a travesty that this young girl lost her life during an unnecessary and violent attack. You're hereby sentenced to an indeterminate term of imprisonment, which shall have a minimum term of 3 years and a maximum term of 9 years. This is a juvenile offender sentence.
The 15-year-old, who we are not identifying because of her age, admitted stabbing Kayla following a school celebration last April. Another girl, 16-year-old Moniece Simpson, survived after also being knifed. She gave a victim impact statement today, along with Kayla's family.
This was an intentional, senseless, and vicious intentional crime which has caused immeasurable pain.
The defendant addressed the family, sobbing through a statement. This is part of her audio.
I wish there was more I could do than say I'm sorry for what I did.
The 15-year-old did express remorse, reading this statement through tears. Quote, "I think of all the different choices I could have made that day that would have left Kayla alive and saved her family this heartache. But that is why everyone is here today, because I made bad choices."
Hopefully, with our client sentencing today, the healing process can begin for the victim's family and for the community, most specifically for the city of Mount Vernon.
Kayla's family not buying the girl's apology.
3 years for a murder is nothing. That's nothing. We had to go to visit a grave to see my niece. And meanwhile, there's a young woman that in 3 years will be outside skipping.
Every party, every system failed. We had a young lady in school wreaking havoc in the Mount Vernon school system. They were fully aware of what this young lady was doing inside of that school, and it was a danger to every young person who was in that school, and they did nothing.
The family's attorney is vowing to hold school officials and others accountable. The 15-year-old will remain in a juvenile detention center until she's 18. Depending on her behavior, she could be released without ever serving time in state prison.
Her mother had this to say.
Away from us, her family, her siblings. We are broken. We are broken mentally, emotionally, and physically.
Justice! 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 What good for one, good for both. Justice! Justice!
It is important that justice is served in its highest degree. It is not other people will think it's okay to intentionally attack and murder another 16-year-old. If not held accountable, the next Kayla might be your granddaughter, your daughter, your niece, your cousin. Any form of injustice is no justice at all. Thank you.
She decided to sue the city for negligence on their side.
A Mount Vernon family is suing the city and school district after their daughter survived a vicious stabbing. Teenager Moniece Simpson had serious injuries to her arm and back, and her best friend Kayla Green was killed when another teenager girl attacked them after a basketball championship event last year at City Hall.
You should have planned better, city. You should have had more cops on the scene, city. And these people who are running this city should be held accountable for this.
And just her everyday life it's been a living hell.
The lawsuit claims there were many red flags about the troubled attacker, but schools and police failed to safeguard the victims, it says. Both the city and schools declined to comment pending litigation.
A vigil was held in honor of Kayla.
Kayla was such a happy girl, always smiling, always happy. You know, you'll see Kayla dancing. She did not deserve to die like this.
It was a sea of pink and white on the steps of Mount Vernon City Hall. Friends, loved ones, and coaches gathered to honor the life of 16-year-old Kayla Green. Kayla's mother, Laverne, watched on.
Kayla was a beautiful big sister and special young woman with dreams and ambitions of becoming a doctor one day. She was a cheerleader, a captain, an inspiration.
Kayla's aunt spoke on behalf of the family and gave a call to action to parents in the community.
Parents, talk to your kids. Talk to your kids. Get involved in your kids. Get in their business.
Our families are suffering.
And they're not suffering from the hands of other people, they're suffering from the hands of us.
Jacob Sherman was Kayla's co-captain on the JV cheerleading team. They would walk home together after practice. The vigil, hundreds of balloons released in the air as the community begins to heal for a teenage life lost way too soon.
A year later, Kayla's mother did not give up on her daughter. She kept trying to get a proper sentence for the person who killed her daughter.
Daughter, once again, her killer get out in 3 years to live her life, to have family, to have a career. My daughter will never see that. I will never see my daughter again. My daughter will never have a future. She will never have family, nothing. My family is broken, and our heart will never mend from the loss of my daughter. Kayla, you want I can't.
She still hasn't given up till date, and we do hope she gets the proper judgment Kayla deserves. Her best friend was really hit by the crime too. He could not stop posting about her on social media.
Dearly, couldn't make you stay. A golden heart stopped beating. Hard-working hands at rest. God broke my heart to prove to me he only takes the best. Keep this TikTok going for anyone in heaven that you've loved and lost, and keep in your heart.
Our sincere condolences to the friends and families of Kayla Green. We do hope the best comes out from her mother's effort to get proper justice. We hope beautiful Kayla continues to rest in peace. Please be safe out there, and see you guys in the next video.
Some love's kinda hard to see. You know, I see you.